back at getting into this remodel, and if you can't hear me well, it's because I still am kicking this cold around. Still dealing with poison ivy that I've never had before on my arms and chin and chest and torso a little bit. I grew up in the woods and walked. Lula just said potty, so she's got to go potty. Just a minute. And never got it, except maybe a little dot. But what happened was we were working out back, my daughter and I, and she was cutting vines off the trees, and there's some different vines mixed in with the poison ivy, and she didn't know she was touching some, so she got it worse than I did. But I was shoving it into the yard bags, and then a week later, I got to where I was overdone working on my daughter's gift. If you saw her hidey hole I created, I did that in 3 days, like less than 3 days. And I could tell I was wearing myself out. So I picked up a head cold. I haven't had a cold in a couple years. Poison ivy kicked in at the same exact time, just showing my immune system was not tolerating the oils on my skin from the poison ivy. And last night I broke my toe. Times are good, but I've got to work, right? Got to eat. So we're going to keep carrying on, doing the best I can at the garage, going on. Well, it's starting to come to fruition, the garage build. If I sound like a toad, it's because I'm sick. I'll get the sun in the face here in a minute. So they poured inside there, and we'll be doing this next week because the weather may not be totally working with us here. So have the tape up, hopefully can keep the dog and cats off of it. But one more step in the right direction. And here we go. They just came this morning. I was there actually setting up my opener and all that to set right on the concrete, and they came and poured. If I sound like a toad, it's because I'm still sick. But Lula's liking there's no more gravel. I like that I feel like we're headed in the right direction and I can start bringing stuff in. I've debated on whether or not to paint before I start doing that, but honestly I have so much on my plate right now that it's too cold to paint at the moment, so just gonna let it be for now, and if I have to take everything, whatever, and paint, I've done it before. And we'll be tackling right here. If you've heard me before in my previous videos, I've torn down the ceiling in the family room, I've torn down the ceiling in the kitchen because I sold them both off at the same time. This one is about ready to go for paint. But I'm holding off because I want to see what I can do to open up these stairwell here. I'm going to be taking down the faux wood panels, and underneath on this side is drywall, on these sides, and in here is plaster. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to encounter, but we'll finagle something. I could essentially take this all out and put in a new header above here. Not really wanting to do all that, and not really wanting it completely open either. Want a little bit of privacy in each room, but would like to create more light and just a flow and not so isolated boxes. But gonna dig into it and see what we got. Let's have at it. Okay, so never mind the mess, because like I said, we had torn down the ceiling. Sorry for that glare. And I put up some temporary lights because I sold my lights. So right here, I'm just hoping to take these panels, cut open, so there'll be a through pass. And then over here again, when they came to do the garage floor, I had to bring everything in, and that's what broke my toe last night. Corner of that dog on it. I could show it to you if you want to see. One of these things doesn't look like the other. Yeah, that pinky is normal. I know toes are weird, whatever. Anyway, you can see what I've done before in my previous posts. I've been showing how I'm doing the lighting and everything, and so hopefully just to create a more open effect, because when you walk in, if you remember seeing my arched entry, there's just that, and it looks nice, but it's just so boxy. So it'd be nice to kind of see an openness when you walk in. You're hearing Lula bark outside, but I'm just glad that I can see the electrical up. I had to switch shirts too because it's actually sunny now. So I can see where the electrical's coming in and know roughly where to protect myself when it comes to cutting into the wall. But obviously, it's going to be running by a support somewhere. But here I only have to consider these two switches, one of which does absolutely nothing. I have no idea, so I'm curious to figure out what that's for. This one is for the kitchen lighting, so that's good. And I have an electric baseboard hooked up below, but I'm not really gonna think I need to touch that. With this chair rail here that I will be taking down, I don't know if you probably can't see, there is a seam over here on this panel. So I'm not sure how low I'm gonna go just yet, but at least take off the top and whatever else I need to do and disconnect that power for a little bit. How's that for original wallpaper? This is kind of funny. I'm excited. It's like highlighted where the studs are. I mean, there's nails, but it gives me a better visual. So I've got to consider these two light switches, and then the rail is attached on the other side. If I stand like this, you can see what I'm talking about. Rail. And I'm going to need to figure out, this one's attached here, which is almost next to that light switch. So I'll be able to cut down right there. Not super low anyway, but just it gives me a better reference point. I'm gonna have that cutting in here and hopefully nothing goes wrong. Giving you a rundown, I don't know if you can see where the seams are, and then pretty much 16-inch spacing, so I'll have to figure out how high to go up. She's using her buttons. Yes, K-Dog outside, gotta wait, play later, okay? She's telling me potty because her neighbor dog is out there barking, wanting to play. Anyway, I'll be cutting out notches in between the studs and then casing them in just to have some openness, but I'm sure my cats will love this. It's actually drywall. They just must have done some plaster over top. Look at how much light is pouring in. This was a good thing to do. Ah, look at the light. I knew this was the right thing to do. I'm a little bit skip happy. I'm stinking at my cuts. Call it tired. You know, got a lot going on. You can see where my baseboard. So that one I started cut too low, so I'll have to fix that. So I'm trying to be better than my cuts at the moment, so it's less work for me later on. Makes sense, right? I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys, because I've got my work cut out for me, and that's okay. It's been a couple days. I need to clean up because we've got a birthday coming in the house. Let me take this off. Birthday coming, and I had to go buy a special bit because if you can see, there is like drywall and cement board. That is dulling my bits. I've used my circular, my jig. Almost done with this wall in the family room. Just a bit more to go at the bottom, but I got to rewire some things, and I will come back and show you what I'm up to. But for now, I'm signing off so I can wrap this up for the time being. Until next time.